Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy's back with a Beyblade update. But first, I do have a couple of announcements. So, I did just do a live stream earlier today, and I will link you guys down below to it, so be sure to check it out. If you couldn't make it, it's fine, I understand. I will hopefully make the next one on a weekend so that more people can show up. Also, I still have that Discord server open. We have a lot of people already on, and it's kind of chaotic, but I want more people to show up because, why not? You guys get a chance to talk to me in chat, and I think it's awesome to do that. So, peep the link down below. It will be right there. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into this update, which is about Salamander and Revive Phoenix. Now, we're going to start off with Salamander. This is the release for May, and it's going to come out later this month, obviously. Now, we finally got some more images, as well as the gimmick behind this Beyblade, and I want to talk about it. So I'm going to show you the layer first off. And we could tell that it is a left spin, just judging by the disc alignment. So that's crazy. That number one. Number two, the design is obviously really nice. It's nice red and black color. You can't go wrong with that. And we can also see the metal spread around the layer, which just is really sick. I'm really digging this design, and I think a lot of people will like it as well. Also, just the details on the center, I think that's just super, super nice. It's like a nice crimson red. And another thing I wanted to point out was that there is a diamond spot for the level chip, but also in the center we have another diamond. Now, I don't know if that's for looks or if that has to do with like anything else, but it looks kind of cool. Now, moving on to the gimmick for this layer is that the under part of it, the bottom part, can rotate, and I guess that's going to switch the modes. So if I had to compare it, it's kind of similar to Arc Bahamut, but I think you can manually change the modes rather than mid-battle. But that's pretty sick. I guess it's going to have two modes where I think one mode might have more metal exposed, or I guess more contact points exposed, but that's just my guess. Now, moving on to the disc, we have 12, which we already are familiar with. 12 came on Winning Valkyrie, and it's very notorious for breaking Beyblades, so you want to be very careful with this disc. I would recommend putting a frame on it to be safe. That's probably what I'm going to do for this Beyblade. But yeah, that's the 12 disc. And then we have the driver, which is called OP, which actually stands for Operate. Now, we don't know the exact gimmick other than the fact that it has a ball and there may be a height change involved. And I think that's pretty interesting. I kind of like the fact that they're moving more to height differences because that's what Burst kind of lacks right now. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure if the ball itself is also going to be free spinning or not. But either way, that's pretty cool. And overall, the Beyblade is going to be a balance type. So a left spin balance type is pretty interesting. I don't think we've had one before besides Spriggan Requiem and Legend Spriggan. But overall, very, very, very nice looking Beyblade. And I'm super stoked to order it. Hopefully I'll be able to pre-order it within a week or so. Moving on, we have Revive Phoenix, which is a pretty cool looking Beyblade. I'm not going to lie, at first I thought it was hideous because we only had one image of it. But we got more images revealed earlier today. And we get to see the layer better now. So the shape kind of reminds me of Horror Suit in a way, just that kind of oval shape to it. But from what I could tell, the layer itself is going to be free spinning. So I think either the inside or the outside is going to be free spinning, which is pretty cool. We also see that the metal is outwards, so it's spread out outwards. I guess that's going to give it better stamina in a way, if I had to guess. And it's just an overall really, really cool design. I kind of like this design better. Especially from the original picture, I had a really bad feeling of it, but it looks much better now that I see it much clearer. Now moving on to the parts, it is 10 and friction. So we're going to look at the 10 disc right now. The 10 disc looks a lot like 8 if I had to compare it to that. 8, but maybe just a hollower version, because if you guys didn't know, any disc past 8 is pretty hollow. 11's light, 12 is light, and then 13 is pretty light too. And now we have 10, which if you could tell, those are pretty big holes in the disc, so I'm going to guess it's going to be a lighter disc. I'm not sure what Kotomi's going with that trend, but they're just going in that direction right now. I guess it could be just to not make their Beyblades too heavy and OP. And then we got the disc, and then we have the driver, which is friction. So I don't know the exact initials, but we can see it pretty clearly here, and a lot of people are saying that the ball is going to be made out of POM, which is the exact same material on bearing. Now, POM is a very smooth plastic, which means a lot more stamina, but also less grip on the stadium. And then, apparently, because of the name, friction, we can guess that that outer ring on the driver is going to be made out of rubber. So we're looking at a rubber ring with a smooth ball in the center. Now, here's another thing. We don't know if that ball is going to be free spinning or not. If it is, that's going to make for a pretty much way better atomic, because if it has the rubber with the smooth plastic, that means it's going to be very, very resistant to getting knocked out. And a lot of people are saying this might be the go-to driver for defense because of how it's set up. But yeah, that's pretty cool. But here's the thing. Takara could totally nerf it if they give it a weaker spring. I'm looking at Bearing here and Atomic in a way. They both have weaker springs, which means they're easier to burst. So if Takara does that for this driver, I would not be surprised whatsoever. It's very possible. But that's just speculation at this point. But other than that, I believe it is a right spin Beyblade as well. And it's going to be coming out in July. And from what I heard, it's also going to be a very hyped up release. That's why we have info now. And July is kind of far away in a way, but at the same time, because they're talking about it now, it's going to be one of the most anticipated releases of Beyblade Burst Super Z. So what does that mean exactly? It might belong to another main character, either a villain or a good guy, but I'm just looking forward to that. I'm pretty stoked to find out who owns this Beyblade and how it's going to perform in battle. Now, one more thing about the layer that I forgot to mention is that because it's free spinning, I can guess there might be some kind of life after death ability, hence the name Revive Phoenix, but that's just kind of a stretch. It could very just be a cool name. Anyway, just to sum it all up, we have some info about 2 new Beyblades, Hell Salamander, which is coming out in May, once again, and then Revive Phoenix, which is supposed to come out in July. Now, I'm super looking forward to both of these Beyblades. They look like they can pack a punch, and I also am curious about just how they work. Takara is definitely getting a lot more creative with their designs and just gimmicks in general, so I'm glad they're not just reusing old parts from before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. Please do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates, as well as mods and battles. I have a lot more uploads planned for the next weeks because I am on summer break, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, until next time guys, see ya.